Good morning, my name is David Dawson, and this is another edition of the Mayesh Minute. You know, I'm fascinated by the origins of flowers and flower terms and etymology in general. And one of the things that's always fascinated me is the evolution of the bouquet. And I have done some little research into it, and I'd like to share that with you today. Now, the word bouquet comes from a medieval 14th century French word called Bouquet, and that means a collection of little twigs, a bundle of twigs, as it were. And you can see back in the medieval times, they would collect many things from the forest, bundle them up, and usually use them for medicinal purposes or cooking. They would hang them up and dry them from the ceiling. I'll give you, for instance, you'd have something like your rosemary, cultivated for many reasons, for medicines, for well-being, for cooking, and again, to preserve it. They would either use it fresh, but more likely hang it from the ceiling and let it dry out. And a lot of these collections of woody stems would be a bouquet. And as it evolved, the pronunciation of the word went from bouquet to bouquet somewhere in the 17th century. The evolution of these things is interesting because originally these things would be hanging from the ceiling, and then as they got more urban dwelling, more communal situations, the sanitary situations within the house would not be so good. So what they would do at that time then is start to hang them near the window. And so you would take your let's pretend that this is a window here. We have your window. There was no glass or anything like this. And they would hang their herbs by the window so the fresh air would bring in the wonderful fragrances of these herbs, in this case rosemary. They would hang other items. They would have, for instance, oregano hanging, and things like sage, which used a lot too, burning for incense and so on and so forth. But after a while, they would have gotten the idea that, you know, they could put a lot of these things together. And thus, you have your prototypical bouquet. I would imagine back in the day, very rough, very put together, you know, in quite a haphazard way, because it was fulfilling a function of bringing fragrance into the house. And then as time went on and they became more sophisticated, and particularly in the large house and the manor house, and then in the great houses of Europe, they would start to bring them inside, probably first in the kitchen, and they would have them handy for cooking, and then little by little, you know, these would have evolved into a bouquet. And then simply by adding probably other wildflowers at the time, this wonderful, look at this is wild, what you would call Queen Anne's lace now. Really, it's the flower from a carrot. Again, probably grown in the medicinal garden. Just adding these very simple elements. Here we have nepeta, a wonderful little herb. Put that in, and little by little you could see how this fragrant bundle of twigs, as it were, turned into a bouquet that little by little evolved into these, you know, what we term as a bouquet today. And already you can see, even though it's very basic, you could see that this is now has the look of the bouquet. And just winding up in the medieval ages, there's a great painting from the 17th century or the Tudor times of a wedding party, and the detail is, you know, it would have had the featuring rosemary with just your basic old not basic old then, they were the gillivores, the carnations back then, roughly put together with ribbon, and yet a very early, elegant bouquet. And that, you can see how it came from bouquet to bouquet, how a bouquet of just medicinal herbs hanging, drying by the window turned into the wonderful bouquet, and then of course the full-fledged arrangements that we have today. I hope this has enlightened your day. Don't forget to contact your sales associate for information on these flowers and other items at Mayesh locations nationwide. Thank you very much. Have a great day.